Please stay with us.
This is a live Channels television event.
Thank you very much. That was a great rendition. Thank you. It's a beautiful day to be African. It's a beautiful day to be in Nigeria. It's a beautiful day to be in Africa's Global Bank, UBA. Put your hands together for yourselves once again for being here. And it's such an honor to have distinguished and iconic Africans seated in this beautiful Tony Elumelu Amphitheater. I wish I would have done the honor, but it is my honor to invite the Group Head, Corporate Communications, Bola Atta, for the welcome address, as she also welcomes our distinguished guests. Put your hands together for her. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming and coming on time, especially to all our speakers, the chairman. You all were here at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, for 11 o'clock. This is not African timing, as we know it. It's brilliant. Thank you very much. As we know it, but this is today's Africa. So this is why we're here today. I just want to say a little bit about the United Bank for Africa and the purpose for this gathering today. So United Bank for Africa, the name is not incidental. It's actually consciously what we do. We are about Africa. It's in our DNA. So Africa is something that is very special to us in all our 20 countries of operation across Africa. And today we want to celebrate that. We'd like to be able to talk about the history of Africa in a very rich and dynamic way and proffer solutions to the future. And it's a privilege to have the panelists who are here, who have accepted to be on our panel today, join us and speak about this. So I'm very happy to welcome everybody, and I hope that at the end of this session, we will all ratify that we'll have Africa's Conversation 2020. So I just want to also let you know the reason for Africa Day. If some of you don't already know, Africa Day was born in 1963. And the reason why the African Union decided to incorporate a day like this was, it was called Freedom Day initially. And it was to celebrate the freedom and the unity of Africa. It was to celebrate our beauty, our culture. This is what we do at UBA. This is what we'd like to do today. So thank you very much for coming, and I hope you'll enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bola. We'll have an address shortly by the representative of the AU chairman. His name is Ahmed Hamdi, Executive Director of the AU office in Abuja. Welcome, sir. Okay, so he'll be with us shortly. Deji Ige, are you here? So he's going to do a poetry on Africa. Put your hands together for him. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Deji Ige. I'm a poet. As a son of the soil, just like the United Bank for Africa, I believe in the unity of Africa. I believe Africa can come together. I believe we can be one, just like it used to be before. When a story was written in the heart of Africa. Yes, they say we come from the land where rivers sing a song to the sound of gongs, horns, the beat of talking drums, and the happy feet of a united people. I was told we are descendants of the immortals and mortals stronger than the immortals. I was told of the beauty of Africa, from the magnificent Sahara to the awe-inspiring Kilimanjaro, far across the length of Nile, to the majestic pyramids, down to the vibrant Serengeti, then again to a place of wonder where Niger unites with Benue. And I was born. We call it Nigeria. So, on a needle or thread, I shall stand to defend our honor. I will make weary any adversary lest they tarry. My songs of revelation I will sing to her in elation, and in swift succession, my affection I'll profess in exaltation. Offenses are meant to the end, and from my end, this land of honor, I will tend. These are my words, words unscripted, thought unguided, my creed to her. In rain or pain, every letter I will remember. In gag or chain, every syllable I will mumble. What binds me to her is stronger than not the name we still can't comprehend, not the pledge we have failed to memorize, neither the anthem we have turned to lullaby, nor the flag we have refused to honor. What binds me to her is stronger than bond, not the oil that blinds our sight, not the bridge across Niger promised to mend our fences, neither the pieces of land around Niger, or the love of the colonial master that blessed the union, or the intention of his madam that names the baby Niger area. Rather, what binds me to her is in my veins and marrow, the blood we shed for our freedom on this land that has refused to be shared. It's in the texture of my skin and the fabric on it. Call it black, say it white. What binds me to her is a puzzle in the fine stripes of Ange. Call it price, name it pride. What binds me to her is my pride in the majesty of Ashoke, the prominence of Ishiago, and the dignity in their stitches. It's in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south, and the middle of our belt. It's in the sound of their music and the beat of my heart. The eloquence of Gongon hailed the talking drum. The audacity of Agogo, yes, what binds me to her is in the rhythm of Ekwe and the rhymes of Kakaki. It's in the slow whine of Swange and the delicacy of Genge. It's in the women and their virtue, their faces and their curves, the beauty of their names and the magnificence of their exploits. Amina led battles from Zazau Kingdom. Moremi taught military tactics in Ile-Ife. Idia, Iyesige treaded the path on which men faltered. Benin Kingdom was the place the Yoruba made a mark. About women waged a war against tyranny and oppression. Fumilayo Kuti drove a car before men could start their engine. Then, it's in a men of valor. Baba pori erin nigbo aje. Baba pori akọni nílé wọn afida lálẹ́ gàràrà. Akimi, akiko, akiba nija. Jaja would not be ruled. Okpobo was his throne. Ovurawen did not succumb to the whiteness of the skin. They say things fall apart, yet Achebe walked this path. Sarawiwa defined courage, and the man died for a cause. Soyinka raised the bar, shining across the globe, a torch that if you would bear, you must set forth at dawn. Tell her tale of woe. That is your story. But to the face of the world, I will tell her fortune. Thank you.
Wow. That was awesome, beautiful, lovely. Put your hands together for him once again. This is our Africa. Indeed, it is our Africa. Thank you so much. Thank you for that great rendition. We're now going to have the climax of today. We're going to have our panelists come up. And it is my honor to introduce our chief host in person of our chairman. I call him the chairman of chairmen, Tony O. Elumelu, as he comes to take his seat on the stage. Put your hands together for him. You're welcome, sir. Following after is our moderator for the day, Ayo Obe. Welcome, ma'am. The Nobel Prize winner, Professor Wole Soyinka. Welcome, sir. And all the way from Guinea, Professor Jibril Tamersi Niane. Welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. And following is the daughter of the great Kwame Nkrumah, Samia Nkrumah from Ghana. And we have another distinguished son of Africa, Fela. No, I know what I'm doing. The son of the legend, Fela Kuti, Femi Kuti himself, is here. Put your hands together for him. Thank you. You're all welcome. I'll hand over to the moderator for the day as she takes us on a journey. She'll let you know what. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And I want to just briefly introduce our panelists in case some of you don't know. You see faces that you are familiar with, but you may not know just how great they are and what an extraordinary panel UBA has put together to mark Africa Day. Of course, I start with the chairman, Mr. Tony Elumelu. He's an economist by training, a serial entrepreneur and philanthropist. His citation would be too long, so I will limit myself to those matters that they know about, and particularly the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which is committed to entrepreneurship in Africa. And of course, as the chairman of this global bank, which is the United Bank for Africa. Do I even need to introduce the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka? He, every field of the arts, you will find him. Poetry, writing, biography, autobiography. You will also find him as the playwright. He's a professor of in the fine arts and in the arts world. And he's also a political activist. His extensive insights on political matters have garnered him accolades and praise over the years. And he is a proponent of Nigerian democracy and has participated in so many different activities, in forms of activism, to bring about democracy and freedom for the people of Africa. I turn now to Professor Jibril Tamersi Niane. He is a Guinean historian, he's a playwright, and he's a short story writer. He's an honorary professor at Howard University and the University of Tokyo. And he, as a historian, he is committed to decolonizing African history. He highlights the great figures in the history of the continent in a manual which he's called The History of West Africa, and narrative works such as the Epic of Sundiata, based on the life of Sundiata Keita, who ruled in the 13th century, the founder of the Mali Empire. And our next guest, our next panelist, is Samia Nkrumah. She's a Ghanaian politician, and in fact, she is the first female, the first woman to ever head a major political party in Ghana. And she is a member of the, she's the leader of the Convention People's Party, and she's a member of the, she won her first seat. She won her constituency seat at her first attempt. And she's been described as the new Mandela. The expression of her is that the new Mandela is a woman. So I will leave you, I will say not much more about her, because I think it's when you talk that, that we will hear. And our last guest, did I mention that she's the daughter of Kwame Nkrumah? I think I may have done. But it's always difficult because our next guest is also the son of a famous father, and yet famous in his own right. We all now know, in fact, there will be some young ones who may not have lived during the time of Fela, may not know him, but we all know Femi Kuti. He is a magician. He's a musician. Although he was born in London, he's raised in Lagos, and he's actually a grandchild and a child of political activism and struggle in Africa. But you can also enjoy his musical outpourings if you were to go down to the new shrine at Alausa. Do I call it Alausa or Ikeja? So this is our panel, and I'm going to take my seat now because I don't want anybody to feel intimidated. I'm going to start with our host, because I feel that we may be, as we think about Africa, and I'm looking at a situation where when the OAU was founded, after so many African countries got their independence in the early 60s, late 50s, starting, of course, with Ghana in 1957, the organization decided that the history of Africa is not well enough known, and there's a kind of colonization that was still happening, in the sense that we as Africans still think that we don't have any history except in conjunction with what the Europeans have written about us. So I find myself wondering, Mr. Elumelu, what made the United Bank for Africa decide to make African history its theme for this year's Africa Day celebration?
First is, let me thank Bolata for organizing this. To a large extent, the credit goes to her, her initiative. Our bank is United Bank for Africa. It's older than Bola and I. And we did not create that name, but we understand the past. And they say that those who understand the past are able to live the future and lead it. We understand that Africa as a continent has always been united by, first, the struggle for independence. And after independence, as some of us argue now, the unity for economic empowerment and development of the continent. United Bank for Africa is a symbol of economic development for Africa. United Bank for Africa is a symbol for the economic empowerment of Africans. Our people, our small and medium-scale enterprises, our big corporations, and in fact, the big businesses that also do business in Africa. To us, identifying with Africa Day is synonymous with who we are and what we are. Identifying with Africa Day is an opportunity for us to remind ourselves, remind the world, and remind Africans that until we are able to provide economic opportunities for every African, we have miles to go, and we cannot sit back and relax. So for United Bank for Africa, in summary, to your question, this is not just a celebration. It's much more than a celebration. This is a reminder to all of us that there's still much to be done in uplifting our continent. Until we do that, we will continue to do this. I will continue to expect that other Africans and friends of Africa join the conversation of the new Africa, not Africa of poverty, or Africa of squalor, or Africa of famine, or Africa of war, or Africa that can and should lead the world, should help the world with food security issues, should bring security and peace to the world, and should, above all, provide the workforce that the world so needs. Because we have over 60% of our people, young ones under the age of 30. So we are, should be that continent that should provide employment.